When we look, you can see families were more than willing to go to the box office to support something like the Minecraft movie, while Rachel Zegler's Snow White continues to plunge.
Literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is? Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends. That's how bad it is right now.
I don't think they're gonna buy it. I don't think they're gonna watch it. I don't think they're gonna like it.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight. And it's pretty hysterical, actually, to watch.
There's no way that Snow White is going to recover.
Every single one of these reviews is just absolutely brutal. And what you also need to know is that these are not politically driven reviews. I mean, most of them are from the camp that should be supporting Disney, that should be behind this new progressive take on Snow White, and yet they can't, because the film is apparently just that bad.
Rachel Zegler is a loudmouth dope.
We're talking about ultra-far leftists, people who believe that men and women are a figment of your imagination, that your money is not your own, that your family is not your own, and that your country is not your own. That's what woke me.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point.
Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes.
DC said Disney's Snow White has a major identity crisis.
But it says, meanwhile, over in the kingdom of crumbling crowns, Disney's Snow White dropped like an enchanted apple.
What they really mean is they're describing a worldview that hates you, that hates everything America stands for.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
Well, we all basically knew that Snow White was going to be a massive failure at the box office because of Rachel Zegler's controversial statement.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job.
Looking around, we can see that families were willing to go to the box without hesitation. Office to assist with something similar to the Rachel Zegler Snow is watching a Minecraft video. White is still. Plunge. She's the only one there is. There, and you fail to see how. In the meantime, this is degrading. Encounter at. This is how Minecraft works. United States Minecraft in one weekend outperformed Snow White in terms of revenue. Has achieved worldwide success after 3 weekends. That's how horrible things are at the moment. They won't purchase it, in my opinion. I doubt that they will watch it. Don't believe they'll enjoy it. The Warner Brothers Minecraft film contrasts with Snow White from Disney, which theoretically ought to be a fierce conflict, but it's not. Even a fair battle, and it's truly hilarious to see. There's no manner in which Snow White will bounce back. Each and every one of the reviews is utterly vicious, and what you also must be aware that these are not politically motivated reviews, that is, the majority of, are from the camp that ought to be backing Disney, which is what it should be. This modern, progressive interpretation of Snow White. However, they are unable to do so because the movie is. Rachel Zegler is apparently really that awful. The loudmouth belt in question extremists on the left who think that both men and women are a product of your imagination, thinking that your funds are not your. Acknowledge that you are not the owner of your family, and because you do not own your country, that's. Of course, it was Snow White that woke me up, notably portrayed by the annoying chick. Boss. This narcissist is merely clinical. Moment, there is no longer any question about it. That Snow White 2025 is taken into account by one of the worst box office busts to date, besides Disney but also in the whole cinematic history when it comes to. Disney referred to live-action remakes in DC. Snow White is experiencing a serious identity crisis. However, it states that in the meantime, over in the Disney Snow's Kingdom of Crumbling Crowns, White fell like a magical apple. In reality, what they mean is that they're speaking of a worldview that despises you, that despises all that America is. However, it seems that you dislike your own character, making her appear to be in. That's what that annoying whiny brat said. People will constantly wait in line to see her. Anything she does for the premiere, and everything Will people line up to see you? Understand what's fascinating about all of this is that the sole individual in line, Rachel Zegler, was there to watch Snow White. She can be saved without a prince, and not encircled by 7 strange. Oh, people, that's just fictitious CGI. I suppose that we are all goblins. Was aware that Snow White will become a enormous box office failure, given that Rachel Zegler's contentious assertion, especially if you. I don't agree with this sentiment. Thank you. I need your business. Know what? I don't need your business. Perhaps Disney does. Perhaps you are a tool. He didn't use you as a pawn in this movie. He didn't direct it. Instead, he wrote it. Not related to the formation of Snow White needs to stop talking and get the job done.
And of course, this weekend, Minecraft came out, which has absolutely dominated the box office, done significantly better than analysts even projected. And now we're finding out that Snow White has officially crossed $160 million.
So, it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made 2.
So that it. It seems that Rachel, a big tongue, Zegler loses it all after determining the first numbers of the Minecraft movie and how it totally destroyed Snow White in the theater. You'll be amazed at how Disney just burned itself and gave the award to, yes, a collection of pixelated cubes. People as the House of Mouse attempts to push its mediocre live-action Snow White. The most recent Minecraft film just dominated the box office, resulting in Disney's The most recent disaster appears to be amateur, a YouTube skit.
Turned over 157 million while earning another 144 million internationally. The Minecraft video game was introduced in 2011 and sold more than 300 million copies. So it actually has a fan base, user base, people that care about it. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP. It's a $1 billion IP. The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion.
According to naysayers, Minecraft would fail. They claimed it was too juvenile and simplistic, perhaps too big to take over the mainstream cinemas, but you'll be surprised to learn that the film reached an incredible $300. Millions of openings worldwide are turning the so-called expert forecast into a sum. Snow White, in the meantime, crawled its way to over $77 million across several weeks. You heard correctly. Despite Disney's extravagant marketing expenditures and despite all the hoopla, the movie was a complete failure. We must act as though this never occurred. The worst part of the whole thing is how terrible it is. The Disney machine was relying on nostalgia to disregard every red in order to carry this film. The fans' raised flag turns out to. It's not appropriate to disparage your own fairy tale. Precisely a fantastic method to encourage folks to theaters, but that's only the beginning. Because the upcoming chapters of this collapse with massive boardroom pandemonium, pointing fingers, and a star actress who She seems to have forgotten that she is the star of one of the most recognizable parts in movies, the past.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
Let's now discuss Rachel. Zegler, the arrogant, obnoxious brat way at the heart of this strange circus. Disney believed it was a very clever idea to employ a freshman who chose to run. Her words regarding how out of date you know the same thing about the original Snow White. Original Snow White, which essentially placed on the map Walt Disney started an whole film industry and continues to be a adored classic around the world, and she believes it's too archaic. Well done, Disney. You gave your most treasured position to someone who handled the original material as if it were leftover trash. Zegler has responded to innumerable internet fan tirades, reduced the film's focus on narrative for other information on press lectures. She attacked the original fairy with junkets story for having out-of-date themes.
Literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
As though the crowd was demanding for some reprimands in the 21st century. Imagine being thrilled to encounter a devoted Snow White is reimagined just to have the lead actress essentially makes fun of everything about it that you have ever admired. To be fair, Zegler isn't a brilliant move, ruining the movie on her own, but her tone-deaf and foolish comments play a major role of the issue that one could anticipate Disney to control her, or at least provide her with some astute PR advice. Instead, they allow her large mouth blabs freely regarding the necessity for the former Snow White to be fixed. Surprise, surprise, Disney fans dislike going back to their childhood. A newbie corrected favorites that simply speaks without thinking, and who doesn't honor the audience's origins in the story. There was only crickets in response and vacant seats.
You had the marketing material not being all that good. A lot of advertisements were really mediocre for this film. And to top it off, they made tons of changes and they strayed away from the source material, which upset a lot of fans.
Disney's leadership was unnaturally silent, allowing the meltdown to occur. Carry on as if they have no idea why. In the past, Disney fans were incensed. Was the unstoppable family titan. Now, the entertainment is so ridiculous. A family member who attends the celebration, boasting about how wonderful things were back then, wants to convince everyone to drink kale smoothies. Who doesn't want a piece of cake? Modernization in small doses is acceptable, but when Disney begins revising, be truthful. It's masterpieces to the extent that you can see they've lost the ability to plot.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and, most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you by an ugly woman for 2 hours.
Based on insider information, this train disaster in Snow White was destined. Multiple script rewrites from the beginning, more ham-fisted than the previous one, adding messages from the present day. They were occupied with congratulating themselves on the back for being so forward-thinking that they overlooked the single element that creates or disrupts a film with a real narrative that viewers are interested in, rather than maintaining the beauty of a fairy tale they embedded with political overtones. So they could have just as easily posted backdrop of campaign posters.
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again. Minecraft movie was a big winner, debut weekend, $300 million.
It becomes significantly worse, but don't forget to subscribe and like, because let's be honest, I'm not like Rachel Zegler. Without your help, I'm nothing right now. Returning to the tea, the few admirers who purportedly attended early screenings advised that the film was a drab Lecture isn't a fantastical journey, so how? Did Disney react by stepping its efforts to? Lectures, they're currently residing with the repercussions and a humiliating box office. A public black eye and a flop, but hey, they can at least boast about their forward-thinking strategy at the same time. Disney was occupied with filming the Minecraft film was doing really well. Money, similar to print on demand.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform, it is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message. It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids movie should be.
Detractors dismissed it as just another video game adaptation they were unaware of. The number of Minecraft fans ranges from generations of children who play on there, teenagers using iPads to stream on YouTube, and grown-ups who have been constructing blocky empires since the beginning of the game, offering a light-hearted, non-political. In reality, adventure is a formula for achievement.
Okay, and the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event where people are going to just be part of something to interact with the movie itself. The kind of thing that really creates like a kinetic movement.
The cinemas were crowded. Some performances were so loud that they sounded like a rock concert. Even the police officers had to remove some crazy children from the movie for relaxing and having a good time. A lot of fun.
You can see here the Minecraft movie is 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, 87% audience score. That's kind of all that matters because these people pay the bills, these people.
And guess who's at the forefront of? Jack Black's voice acting is certain that the man has spoken some contentious things over the years, but he is able to provide humorous energy that makes seats and butts go. Viewers fell in love with the lighthearted tone of the film, complementing it for preserving the essence of the game. Disney probably ought to have. Snow White is finished, but the finest part. The movie had a 40% review rating from critics, aggregator websites, but regular. It received an 87% rating from viewers.
This movie exists, by the way. You can't tell me Minecraft is the worst movie of 2025 when Snow White exists. That's right. Minecraft movies are going to make more in a weekend than Snow White's made in its entire theatrical run, and we know why.
Who's lost contact now? This is precisely what occurs when studio executives quit, emphasizing just and moral grandstanding. Allow their artists to produce amusing. Story critics are free to complain all they want. The paying public has spoken their opinions, and their wallets make more noise than any other review of a self-righteous movie set around 2025, and Hollywood is reportedly only figuring out that political dogmatism doesn't fill. Theater seats appear to be empty, intolerable to societal criticism. They just desire it to be presented with a little of nuance. Not struck with the elegance of a destroying ball, but for some reason a big. Studios continue to produce this moral of the week flicks, then display astonishment when Snow White's ticket sales meltdown is just the most recent victim rather than having faith in Disney's classic fairy tale formula. Demanded that it be fixed. The irony is that there are already aspects in the original plot of courage, kindness, and everything positive things, but the suits made the final decision. Had to be modified in order to satisfy a risk that backfired was the Twitter crowd. Amazingly, they're currently stuck with a fans' multi-million-dollar speech. Find unbearable.
Teens in suits shouting lines, cheering like it was a concert. Check out the energy. Unreal. Disney Snow White is flopping hard. Why did Minecraft win? Because they stayed true to their actual audience. If Disney had made a faithful adaptation to the original Snow White, it would have made $1 billion.
Conversely, Minecraft skyrocketed since it didn't lecture that sufficiently valued its audience to provide total escapism. I'd like to see pixelated zombies are pursuing your preferred blocky hero is fantastic. You're yearning an inspiring journey for the whole family, so it's hardly surprising that it's making the "What's the story's lesson?" huge bucks. Forcing awakened concepts on viewers doesn't precisely yield results.